Out of the whole of U.S. history, how long has gold been used as money or backing the money supply? I'm playing with the ChatGPT again. Let's go over it before I have to go to work. Peg Boyd takes the last video. First class, thousandaire. Congratulations. Since the age of about 3 or 4, it became obvious there was something different about all the other people. They seemed oblivious, often acting in their own disinterest. This was apparent also in our pets, but not as much. Curious. Cheers to you, friendo. I know, it just gets weirder and weirder, but I'm leading up to something. And, believe it or not, I'm not kidding about what I said. And you know what? People are still acting in their own disinterest. I have before, if I drank a bottle of whiskey, and I guess technically before I drank the bottle. Because the first sip was in my disinterest as well, and I made that decision soberly. So why would one act in their own disinterest? The only thing I can think of now, while halfway through my first cup of coffee, we get sidetracked and sometimes derailed by short-term pleasures. So this is probably no great epiphany. We all know this. We know people like that. But what about when an entire nation does it? Makes the pursuit of short-term pleasure and avoidance of pain at the expense of the people's best interest policy. As you can see, I'm probably going into this biased. Oh, before I start reading over it, could you please hit the like button? That's what I work for right now. Your likes, not bullion dealers or mining companies. I like what they do, but I'll never accept their sponsorships. So when you hear my opinion on gold and silver, well, that's what it is. Unswayed by corporate interest to preserve integrity. So hit that button and raise me up. Raise us up. Because the thousandaires are a-coming, one piece at a time. So the question was, out of the whole of U.S. history, how long has gold been used as money or backing the money supply? The ChatGPT answered, gold has played a role in the U.S. monetary system for the majority of its history. Here's a breakdown. 1. Gold as money, 1792 through 1933, 141 years. In 1792, the U.S. Mint was established under the Coinage Act of 1792, which defined the dollar in terms of gold and silver. Bimetallism. Kind of like these kids these days. I don't know. The dollar was backed by both silver and gold. In 1834, the Gold Standard Act adjusted the gold content of the dollar. I know nothing of this. If you do, comment below. If I didn't have to go to work pretty soon, I would dig into all of these details. I would look up the 1834 Gold Standard Act. I would dig a bit. But I must continue. In 1873, the U.S. effectively moved to a de facto gold standard by demonetizing silver. And it says in parentheses and quotations, the crime of 1873. In 1900, the Gold Standard Act officially placed the U.S. on a gold standard. And that would last until 1933. So there you have it, the first 141 years, gold and silver, and eventually just gold. All right, number 2, gold-backed paper money, 1863 to 1971. 108 years. In 1863 through 1933, gold certificates, redeemable in gold, were issued alongside U.S. notes. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt ended the convertibility of gold for private citizens and made gold ownership illegal, except for jewelry and rare coins. So the U.S. would allow countries to withdraw gold, but not U.S. citizens. Not cool. I'll continue. In 1944, under the Bretton Woods system, the U.S. dollar was pegged to gold at $35 per ounce, while other countries were pegged to the dollar. From what I understand, when Roosevelt made the gold illegal, you had to turn your gold in for $20 an ounce. $20 in paper notes, that is. And then later, it was revalued officially at $35. I'm no economist, but it sounds like robbing Peter to pay Paul to get the country out of the Depression is basically what was done. Assets were essentially taken from citizens, along with the return on those assets, which was about 75%. Not cool. Not cool. People in general tend to have a lack of compassion for gold holders. But I'm thinking if the country could have such a dire situation again these days, this could just as easily be your homes. What if you were forced to sell your home at a dictated price nonetheless, and then you're forced to rent? And after everyone has complied, the homes go up 75% in value. Do you think you'd be upset? Maybe, right? And to add insult to injury, what if other countries were allowed to buy your homes? But that's okay. You can still rent. Maybe my analogy is flawed. I'm about to pour my second cup of coffee. If you have a thought on it, put it in the comments below. I'll continue. Number 3, end of gold backing, 1971. 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility to gold, fully severing the gold standard. This was called the Nixon shock. So now, not even other countries can redeem their gold for their dollars. Not cool. Not cool. What if you had gift certificates to a restaurant and they said, well, we're no longer redeeming those for food, but you can trade them for other gift certificates from other restaurants that also will not let you redeem it for food. It's okay. Most people were just using the gift certificates for trade anyhow. Very few actually redeemed them for a meal. But that convertibility is what made them valuable to begin with. I guess everything will be fine so long as no one gets hungry. In 1973, the U.S. officially moved to a fiat currency system. So the dollar, backed by nothing, we've only been doing it for 52 years. Just 36 more years than the existence of Bitcoin. This video was recorded February 14th, 2025. So, reserve notes, that's what a dollar is. With no reserves, it's not redeemable for anything. I mean, you can buy stuff with it from businesses and shops because most people are ignorant and proud of it. Oh, and you must have it to pay your taxes. That's right. What if you were forced to pay your taxes with gift certificates from restaurants that won't let you redeem it for food? You can't make this stuff up. So if you should encounter someone who thinks gold is edgy or risky, well, I'll have you know you're saving in a tried and true method, proven and time tested for over thousands of years. And the paper notes, not backed by anything? I'm sorry, they're actually backed by more paper notes. How silly of me. You can redeem your paper notes for more paper notes at any bank. I usually don't ask people to share my videos because I don't know if I want to meet your friend's friend though. But I think I may have explained a lot of things in real simple terms here today. Yeah, I just summed up our financial system. It's basically the equivalent of little girls having a tea party with empty cups. And for one reason or another, people have been playing along. A nice game of musical chairs with no chairs, which is fine unless the music stops. There's no doubt some have enjoyed some short-term pleasure and avoidance of pain with this money supply. Monopoly money supply, both figuratively and literally. But how is this going to play out long term? And what's next? And something's got to be next pretty soon. Because when this charade started back in the 70s, people didn't have computers in their hand that they took with them everywhere they go all day. And I think there's more eyes than ever that see through the BS. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. Or just leave some algo food. If you're new here and you found yourself enjoying the content, subscribe for more and you will get more. I post nearly every day. Don't leave it to chance. Hit that button and I will see you tomorrow. Because that's it. That is it! Thousandaire Radio, wicked job. Have a great day, friendo.